Welcome to the Horr-Gasm podcast, the show where the serial killer isn't coming for you, you're coming for them. I'm Nick, this is my co-host Ali.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us wherever you are.
On New Year's.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It is 2020.
Oh my gosh. What happened to 2019?
Flew by.
If you find it, I'm still looking for it.
It's in the past.
It's gone. Long gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember it happening. It feels like we blinked and it went by.
Yeah.
It
did. This was the last 10 years been pretty quick.
Right?
Yeah.
2009 to 2019, ugh. But so much has happened, in my life, but it feels like it was like a snap of the fingers.
Yeah.
It's craziness. My goodness. So should we talk some chop about the new year?
Yeah, let's talk some chop. Well, I want to bring up some of the best horror movies ever released these last 10 years. So from 2010 to 2020, well, nothing's out yet, but
sure.
I went through a list someone put up. I'm just going to go through a few what I think that are on the, top horror movies of the year, or 10 years, I should say.
Cool.
Cabin in the Woods. We reviewed this recently. It was released 2011.
Okay.
That was a good throwback.
It was, yeah.
What else do I have here? The Conjuring, 2013.
For sure.
That was a good
I read a good article on Bloody Disgusting about how The Conjuring helped define this decade with their type of horror.
Yeah.
With kind of the possession sort of horror. And I totally agree with that. I think the genre has really gotten big.
Yeah.
These last 10 years with the possession thing.
And even the first one started in before 2010, but Paranormal Activity.
For sure.
They really got the whole possession thing going the ball too.
Right.
And Insidious.
Yeah,
that's
another really good one.
A Quiet Place. That was in 2018. Yeah. You haven't seen that yet, have you?
I haven't, but I've heard about it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a very different type of movie.
I've heard of that. I've heard that it's quite a bit different. I like the different ones, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else we have? Train to Busan.
Okay.
This was a Korean horror, a zombie movie.
Yeah.
Really good. They're working on a sequel.
I heard about it.
They're working on a sequel as we speak.
Interesting.
What else do we have here? It 2017,
of course.
And a sequel.
Of course.
What else
do you think that it's fair to include sequels on these lists?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Because it was like part 2.
Because it's like a remaking?
Yeah, but it's also like a part 2 of the whole story.
Right. Yeah. I think as like a film, definitely it should be included. But it's not a new story, sort of, When I think best of the decade, I think something new and imaginative.
Yeah. What else do we have? Let Me In, which is a remake of Let the Right One In.
Yes.
It's a good little vampire movie. It's really good. I have both versions, and it's a good. They kind of took the old idea of the little vampire.
Okay.
And what if him being, instead of a nice little vampire, he was a girl and she was vicious.
I've watched this. I've watched it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a good one.
It's very good. Very, very good.
Where did I see? The Evil Dead remake, 2013.
Sure.
That was a good remake.
Yeah.
They went back to the pure horror elements.
Right.
And really ramped up the gore and the blood. And
it was kind of like a different movie than Evil Dead.
It is. It's got a little bit of different basis.
Mm-hmm.
The book works differently.
Right.
In some ways. But there's a lot of similarities.
Sure.
Like losing a hand and using the chainsaw.
Of course.
The one woman cutting her own arm off.
Yeah.
Which is what Ash does when he gets possessed.
That was a rough scene.
There was. What else? Let's see. We got not so much a horror, but it's too funny to be horror. What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay, so I added that to our list for March. Because
Really?
it's one of my favorite movies.
I love that
It's
movie.
100% a horror comedy. That's what it tells.
It's so funny.
It is So good.
I agree, 100%.
Oh, okay, good. I'm so glad you like it too, because I was like, I'm just gonna put this here in our timeline. I was like, I wonder if you'll notice. Oh,
I forgot Scream 4 was out. 2011.
oh, in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I feel like those are all early 2000
Well, I
movies.
grew up in like watching the first three.
Right.
And yeah. There's a few left. One that I saw, where'd it go? There's this one, Lords of Salem.
Okay.
Rob Zombie's Horror.
Yeah.
That was a good... I liked that one.
Sure.
And
That's a fun one.
Yeah, I think that's kind of most of them that I really liked.
Okay. Yeah, I am, for the last 10 years, like I said, I haven't really started watching horror movies. The most of the ones that I've watched are, like, the ones that have come out within the last year. So, It Chapter 2, Doctor Sleep, like, lots of Stephen King.
Yeah.
Like, for tonight, we watched the Stephen King movies. That's relevant. But I just find it hard, like I already said, just saying a remake kind of, like, I'm just a sucker for an original story. And I miss that. I was talking about this with Disney movies that are coming out. Now they're just making live actions of all the old ones.
Yeah.
Or they're making sequels to movies that have already come out. But
That's
like
big cash grab, I think.
Absolutely it is. Because, the people of my age, like millennials, we all love those stories already. So why wouldn't you just redo it? And I'm not going to say I haven't seen the remakes, because I has. And I love them. But I just, with the success of Frozen and the success of Moana, I can't believe they're not spending more money on original stories.
Yeah.
Like, did we need a Toy Story 4?
I haven't even seen that yet.
I haven't either. I haven't even seen the third one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I heard it was sad and I can't do it.
Oh.
I can't. It's just, it like hurts me. I heard that there's like a really emotional scene with like an incinerator or something, and I'm just like, I'm not going to put myself through that. I'm going to hard pass on that. Swipe left. Ugh.
We got some original in the horror department. There was Us. Us was pretty good.
Absolutely. I would say Us. I really like the idea of like, what's that one? That super creepy one that everybody talks about.
There's a few.
With the little girl. It's like so popular.
Annabelle?
No. She gets her head off in the car when they're driving with the brother.
Oh,
it's literally so popular and I can't remember it.
About, yeah.
Right?
I can't think it was not Mama.
No. Why can't I think of it?
I know what you're talking about.
I was on another podcast and reviewed it. I can't even think about it.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
And Midsummer. They were from the same studio.
Yes.
And, like, those are so interesting. Those movies are intense.
Ooh.
Right?
Intense is good.
Yes. And that's the thing is, I just feel like, especially with people, like, even the movie we watched today, totally considered a horror in 1983 when it came out. Not that scary.
No.
It was more like a action thriller.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But also, it's based on
romance.
The book. It's based on the book.
Right, of
and
course.
And the book was horror.
Right, absolutely.
And this is Stephen King, who was like in the 80s was pumping out movie versions of his books.
Left, right, and center.
It was almost ridiculous.
Yes.
But he was so good at it.
Yes.
And some were creepy, some were not. Wait till you watch Dreamcatcher.
Yeah.
Like, again, you'll find so many similarities of it in there.
Yeah.
And just the dark mentality that Stephen King has in his books and scripts.
Right.
So.
But I think it's known that he's kind of a weirdo and creepy and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like I haven't actually read any of his books, and I feel like that's the next step I kind of have to take, because there's, like, these movies just aren't doing it for me at all. And I feel like imagination, like, he's such a creepy guy. And I feel like the books would take it maybe one step further.
It would.
Yeah.
I'll have to go through my my small Stephen King collection.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Maybe run to Value Village and see if there's some.
There's tons there.
Is there?
Westgate Books.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of the secondhand bookstores. There's tons of Stephen King.
Maybe that's what I'll take some time over
There
the holidays here and do is.
There you go.
Go bother everybody at Value Village and Westgate.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Well, what about you? So out of those movies that you listed, which ones do you really stood out to you?
Evil Dead.
Okay.
Train to Busan was a great zombie flick.
Mm-hmm.
After the oversaturation from 2010, which was nothing but zombies.
Right. Oh, zombies and vampires and werewolves.
Yeah.
I feel like we had a thing there for a while. Like mid to late 2005 to like 2012.
Oh, yeah. And what else was there for horrors? Because like there's not much vampire movies, which I prefer.
Yeah.
It was more like a possession.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Some of the paranormals got to me. I thought they were pretty good.
For sure. I was saying before, I like The Conjuring, The Insidious, The Sinister, those kind of movies. Those ones actually creep me out. And I think, like, Annabelle didn't really do it for me, but the Conjuring ones really were creepy. Especially the second one. I thought the second Conjuring was creepy as fuck.
Which one was it with the ghost in the basement and the clapping?
Ghost in the Basement. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. That's the first one, I'm sure.
The first Conjuring?
Yeah.
Yes. See, I like that.
Yeah.
Like, the trailer had me hooked right from the beginning. Because, the woman's playing the game with her kids.
Mm-hmm.
Her eyes are closed, going through the house, trying to find the kids.
Yeah.
And first clue, and you do the clap.
Yeah.
And, second hint, and, clap, clap. And, you see, she's trying to find the kids, and she goes onto the basement.
Yes.
And she has the little match going. And these two hands kind of pop out of the dark behind her. And I'm like, okay, that's creepy as fuck.
Yes.
I want to see this. And I did in theaters. That was a great movie.
Sure. The Conjuring 2 really did it for me. That was the one with the little girl. And she, like, becomes possessed by the, like, old man spirit or whatever.
Yes.
But it's just actually a conduit and all that. Man, it was awesome. It was so, so good.
I know you didn't like it, but I didn't mind The Witch.
Oh, I hated The Witch.
The Witch wasn't bad.
So stupid.
A Quiet Place is a good, different movie.
Mm-hmm.
And what I didn't mention, Annihilation.
Okay.
It's, I could call it horror.
Okay.
But it's a very kind of different all-female-led cast. I thought it was great. There's some really good creepy spots where this mutated bear-looking thing
I've heard of this.
Screams like a woman screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whoa, that's cool. That's different. Creepy.
So it's just like a mutated bear? Is it kind of like a Yao Guai from...
No.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Okay.
It just looks like it's a very kind of malformed, screwed up looking bear thing that just... when it screams, it's one of the characters screaming.
Ugh.
It's a very kind of twisted movie.
Okay.
At its core.
Huh. Well, it's like The Woods. Like the Woods that just came out. That one was creepy.
And Cabin in the Woods. That was such a good movie.
Yeah, that was a good one.
For being as fun as it wanted to be, like, it was a fun.
It was. It was different. Definitely different.
Yeah.
I think that's what I liked about it. Is that was like a horror movie within a horror movie. It's not just like, okay, teenagers in cabin.
It was
scared.
It was like a big homage to all the horror movies that have come before it.
Yes.
They had the cabin. It's in the woods. And like we talked, we reviewed that episode, it played itself like everything that we've seen before is part of that universe.
Yes, exactly.
Like, so.
Yeah, like it's all just they're pulling from these stores basically that they have of these scary animals and creatures Freddy, and ghosts.
Jason, like anything.
Maybe they're all just in a cavern somewhere, right?
They could be, yeah.
It's creepy to think
it's
about.
It's not always the cabin. It could be somewhere else. It could be a school, like in the faculty.
Right.
It could be the town from Chucky.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. And it's just to take everything and say, all right, let's have it under one big umbrella.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching it. I was like, oh, a Cabin in the Woods. It's supposed to be kind of funny or whatever. So, but then when I was watching it the first time, I was like, this is crazy. How could they do this? I thought the same thing, though, with that 13 Ghosts. Is that the one we watched? Which is a ghost one.
13 Ghosts.
That's it. Yeah. That was a good one too. I thought was really interesting. It's the same sort of kind of concept where the ghosts are kept in the house, like sort of locked away. Don't you think?
Yeah, that was 2001, and that was also a remake of a 1960.
Right.
Movie.
I just mean it's the same kind of concept with keeping something locked away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should review that one. I really do like that movie.
Could definitely add it.
That
it was good.
House on Haunted Hill, also a very good one.
I don't think I've seen that one.
No?
No.
You would like that one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I another one that I'd really like to add to our list that we've talked about before is that Lake House LLC. I think if you liked Blair Witch and you liked Paranormal Activity, you would really like it. It was actually really scary.
I heard about it.
Oh, it's scary.
I haven't seen it though.
Yeah, I'll add it.
We should also, for this new year, we really need to dive deep into the old classic horrors.
Like the Hammer ones?
I'm talking the very first Dracula, the very first Frankenstein. I got that for Christmas. Like the big, I think it was not 50, but there's, well, it is 50. It's a big collection of all the old horrors and together. Like you got Dracula,
yeah, you showed me
Dracula, Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, Abbott Costello meet Frankenstein.
Nice.
The Invisible Man, like all those, like the classic, the original.
That would be fun.
The ones that started it all. They're in there. And we really should get reviewing those.
Yes.
Because
absolutely.
We've done all the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
We should really look back into the old classics.
Yeah, see where it all came from.
Yeah.
I'm totally into that. I could definitely get into that.
Well, 2020.
2020's our year.
Yep. A year of multiple Horr-Gasms.
Hooray! Oh, okay. Well, should we get into the movie?
I think so. I just want to add, we were supposed to have a special guest for this episode. Sadly, she is a bit under the weather, so we weren't able to have her on this episode, but we'll have her on in the future.
You betcha.
She gets an open pass to any future Horr-Gasm to watch it, review, and talk about her interest in horror movies.
You betcha.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's get into Christine.
All right, so this week we watched Christine, which is a 1983 movie directed by the lovely John Carpenter. And
he's good.
Right. And like we already said, it was written by Stephen King. So you had a book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it come out much before this, do you know?
I can double check.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit before.
Sure. Yeah. Awesome. And this movie, as we kind of sort of mentioned, was suggested by Tanel, who can join us tonight, and my sister Victoria.
Yep.
So we had a couple people suggest this one, which is awesome. I'll just do a quick character run while you look that up, Nick.
Yep.
Perfect. So the main character that's got a thing for Christine is Arnie. And he's played by Keith Gordon, who it looks like went on to direct a bunch of creepy movies and stuff.
He did, yeah.
Like you mentioned, he directed, he was one of the directors in Fargo, like the TV show, which I love. Would you consider Fargo a horror movie?
No.
No? Not even the TV show?
No, a thriller. That's
fair.
It's in the horror.
As soon as I see nudity and like body parts, I start to immediately think horror. But that's fair.
This book was published April 29th, 1983. So this was very, very recent.
Like congruent to this movie coming out?
Yeah. Like that.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
Man, they were really cashing in on it,
like,
hey?
Like King was pumping out those horror movies left, right, and center in the 80s.
Oh, drugs. Drugs are a good thing when you're writing books. All right, so we talked about Arnie. His best friend, who is another main character, his name's Dennis, and that's played by John Stockwell. The love interest, the new girl, who I'll mention, I call her new girl a lot. Her name was Lee, and she was played by Alexandra Paul. The bullies, there's 3 of them. The main bully's name is Buddy, and he was played by William Ostrander. Moochie was another one who was played by Malcolm Durain? I don't even,
Sure.
I can't spell, I can't even read my own writing. This happens literally every week. And the other bully was Rich, who was played by Stephen Tash. And then we have we have Detective Rudolph Jenkins, who is played by Harry Dean Stanton.
Yes, and he was Brett in Alien.
Alien, yes, exactly.
And the guy who played Rich was the guy getting shocked at the beginning of Ghostbusters.
Yes, yeah.
Which I picked up. I'm like, oh, it's that guy. He's from Ghostbusters. I like this movie now.
Yes. Yeah, this was actually, I actually really enjoyed this movie. This was too. It was a fun movie. It's not like it didn't feel, like Maximum Overdrive, I didn't enjoy as much because it was, like, not great acting.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, Emilio. But this one, like, the guy playing Arnie is awesome.
Oh, he did great.
He did so good.
His transformation from nerdy kid to the dark, brooding character he became was awesome.
Right.
It was really well done.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, anytime you watch an early 80s movie, there's going to be some, like, which I mentioned throughout, which I won't go into in here because I know it's, like, a political thing, but there's some sexist, racist things that happen that I'm not really into.
But this is also Stephen King.
Yes,
Stephen King
exactly.
is known for
being a little bit out to left field.
Well, there's a line, and Stephen King just long jumps that fucker.
Yeah, he don't care.
And he doesn't care. He was kind of, he kind of goes to the shock value.
Yes.
And it works. It does.
Sure.
As much as you don't like it or not, it works.
Sure.
It works.
Yeah. It's there are just pieces that, like, I didn't enjoy parts of it, but I talked about it while we were there. It's like, I don't, like when they say she's got a face of a nerd and a body of a slut. I'm like, cool. Could probably use different adjectives, but that's sweet.
True.
Right?
But also,
that's the only thing. It's just like...
South Park is a good example because when people watch South Park, when it first came out, like, oh, kids don't talk like that. This is terrible. In real life, kids are talking just like that out in the schoolyard. I don't think they're going quite to that extent in this movie.
For sure.
For language, for like describing a female's body. But.
Right, yeah, absolutely. But I think the only thing is that, like, I would love to hear a man describe that way every once in a while. You know what I mean?
And it happens. It does happen.
Right, but that's the only thing that ages it, is that, like, I would have enjoyed the movie just as much without that kind of, but, like, the talking in it is so funny. Oh, yeah. Like, when Dennis is talking to Arnie's mom in the beginning, like, when she's like, don't forget, keep your lunch cold, because there's your yogurts in there. And he's like,
complaining about noise pollution to Dennis.
You're, like, dumping pollution all over my lawn. Oh, my God. It's funny. Yeah. But, okay, so the acting is great. The dialogue's very Stephen King, but funny in parts. Like, I enjoyed it. I was laughing. We were cracking jokes.
I have never heard the phrase or the word, you're shitters. Shitters.
You shitters. You're being a shitter.
I haven't heard that. That's new to me. I have not heard that expression.
Do you feel like it's specific to the movie, though? Because it felt like it was shared dialogue.
Well, I think the term you shitter was passed down through the Christine,
the brother, the owner, the previous owner, what was his last name? Jay or Danae or something?
I don't remember, but
something like that.
I don't think it's a curse, but just the presence.
Sure.
It infected the guy. The owner's his brother, and then when he died, Christine fell into disrepair because the more affection it gets, the more love for the car gave her power.
I feel like, don't you think she, like, selects people, though? Like, people who are down and out? That's kind of what I feel, is that, like...
No, because Arnie saw her first. They're just driving along, and it's back up, I want to see her.
Yeah.
I want to see her.
But that's what I mean, is that, but I feel like it could have been, like, her power, sort of, right? But because Dennis is like, don't buy that car, that's a piece of crap. But the previous
owner, he had a wife, he had kids.
Right.
But he just had to have it.
Yes.
So I can see what you mean by that.
Yeah, but I mean, just because he's in a marriage with a kid doesn't mean he's happy.
No.
Like, let me tell you.
No, that's true.
Let me write a book about being happy. But I think, like, and it happens so much in, again, the possession movies,
Yeah.
I feel like they seek out people who are downtrodden, broken, helpless because they're weaker almost,
I wouldn't
or
use the
something.
word possession. I would say obsession in this
Right.
case.
In this case, I meant more like I'm thinking
Oh, yeah.
about I watched a really good Brazilian movie. I forget. Anyways, but it was about that.
This is about obsession.
Yes,
He
absolutely.
obsesses over this car.
Absolutely.
He puts his life into this car. And in turn, this car is sentient and loves him back and just wants him to be with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he's like, this is almost like his girlfriend. And like his baby, in quotations.
Yeah.
Like, he has conversations with Lee, who he's kind of seeing in the movie about this is like, this is my girl. Like, don't hit her like that. And when Dennis goes to get in the one time, and he's like, oh, we're driving this rust bucket. Don't you see that, Christine? She doesn't like that.
Well, he says to Lee earlier on that, you should be jealous of other girls, not cars. And she's like, well, she's a girl.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, well, she's also a car.
Yeah.
Well, don't know shit.
Right? Oh my gosh.
But I think, should we start reviewing? Should we go
go through it. Right. Yeah. Oh, and I'm throwing my phone. That's okay. It's on the floor now. I woke Ikebana. You actually have to work, you know.
Yeah.
You're the executive producer. You can't just sleep the whole time.
Don't you stare at me like that.
Mad.
Fuck you guys.
Go back to bed. So, we open this lovely movie by starting on the car assembly line.
Yeah.
Ooh. I can't even talk. One beer and I can't talk. So, we're watching Christine be born, in quotations.
She's getting assembled in 1957.
Yeah, and she decides right after she's finished that she's going to snap her hood on some poor guy's arm.
Yeah, some guy's doing the checklists and puts his... I saw it coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hood, puts his hand between where that goes down and look underneath and slam.
Yep.
And he gets taken away with his handle bandaged up, and this other black employee, he kind of walks up with his big cigar and kind of snoops around because the radio turns on all by itself.
Yeah.
And so he kind of gets in and looks around, knocks his ash off his cigar.
Yeah.
And then he kind of things close down, and one of the bosses, managers, doing his last closing up, looks around and hears the radio. So he goes around, looks around, and finds Christine, opens the door, and there's the worker, dead.
Yeah.
Dead as a doornail.
Claimed her first victim.
Yep.
All of them. And then we fast forward here to Rockbridge, California, 1978. And I think we open in September is when the first one we see.
Yeah.
Right, so the school year's just started. And Dennis is going to pick up Arnie, who's their best friends. It's kind of conveyed, I think, right?
Yeah.
And so he's going to pick him up. And this is where we have the talk with him and his mom Arnie's mom about the noise pollution and whatnot. And we kind of get the idea that Arnie's a nerd. Dennis is obviously a jock. He's always wearing his Letterman jacket, and Arnie's got the glasses and the high-waisted pants and his little homemade lunch and trotting around. And so Dennis decides this is the year he's getting Arnie laid. That's it. That's what he's doing. Yeah. It's his goal.
I'm assuming these guys are what? 16,
17
well,
for
just
sure.
got his license. He must be 16 or 17.
Right, exactly. So we get to school, and there's this new girl named Lee, which all the boys are all excited for.
Yeah.
They're very jazzed. And so then we go to the shop, and this is where the bully, who we find out his name is Buddy, he takes Arnie's lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he takes Arnie's lunch, and he's kind of picking on him and saying, "Oh, take it from me. Take it back from me."
He's doing full-on bully tactics.
Full-on bully tactics.
Yeah. He's outnumbered. It's 3-on-1.
Yeah.
And
Dennis goes to help him out and watches this, and then Buddy pulls out a knife, and he's got a little switchblade, and he stabs his lunch, and he
kills the yogurt.
This yogurt is spilling out of it. Like, I don't know how much yogurt was actually in that bag, but it is like gushing out of it like a geyser. Like, I don't think you get that much yogurt.
No.
But so after that, they I don't know whatever he puts the knife away, does he?
Well, Dennis he knocks it away.
Yeah.
He knocks it away, punches Buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy's gang.
Buddies.
Gang up on Dennis. One of them puts him in like a chokehold and grabs his crotch and squeezes.
It's kind of sensual.
I'm pretty sure that guy, he was having more fun than he let on.
Right.
And he just grabs and squeezes. Like, he's just merciless.
Yeah.
And teacher comes in and kind of breaks him up. And he's like, all right, you two bully guys, go to the office.
Yeah.
Now, Buddy, what's going on here? What's are you bugging? Are you being a bully?
Yes.
And Dennis, he's like, oh, he's got a knife. He's got a switchblade.
Mm-hmm.
And is this true? And Arnie, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And of course,
he's kind of reluctant because I think he knows the retaliation is in order.
Well, it's always
right.
When I grew up, you don't tattle. Doesn't matter if it's the bully or not.
Really?
You keep your mouth shut.
Oh my God, I tattle left, right, and center.
Snitches get stitches, Alana.
Try me.
But the teacher, he kind of confronts him and, turn out your politics. Like, you make me. And he's like, I will.
Yeah.
And he gets all kind of lippy with the teacher. And
the teacher, grabs his collar and, shakes him.
That teacher did not care.
That's how you can tell that it's the 70s and not 2019, because that teacher there would be a video taken and that teacher would be immediately fired.
Yeah. But, Buddy takes the blade out, throws it on the ground, it pops open. Nope, you go. Billy, go to the office.
Mm-hmm.
And we cut to Dennis and Arnie driving home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Arnie kind of looks behind. He's like, oh, stop the car. And Dennis like, why?
Yeah.
I see her again. So they back up and see this beat up old Christine.
Oh, yeah. Piece of junk car. It's dilapidated.
And let's for the people who love cars and are all into the cars, like Tanella is, she loves the movie because of the car. Christine is a red and white 1958 Plymouth Fury.
I mean, it looks fine when it's done up.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Nothing special. I don't know. Cars don't do a thing for me.
Not for me, but I thought it's a nice looking car.
I'm like, how functional is it? Because that's how much I like it.
So they go and they're checking it out, and the owner, George, kind of pops up and gives a little heads up. Yeah, this is a really good car, blah, blah, blah. You'll clean it up and you'll be good to you. My brother loved it, and he died, so he looking to get rid of it. So
yeah.
So
So he's like, oh, normally I charge $300 for it, but for you I'll charge $250. And Arnie's like, yeah, sold, I'll take it. And so he goes and he starts writing a check, and Dennis is like, what the heck? That's your college money. And he's like, yeah, but I
look at this car.
Yeah, just look at it. It's beautiful. And Dennis is like, oof, I don't. Are we looking at the same car here? Because it's kind of a piece, but.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he doesn't even think it'll start, and so the old guy gives him the keys, and sure enough, it starts perfectly, purrs.
Pays for it and heads home, and Mom and Dad are not happy.
Oof,
they
are
cut him a strip because he wastes his money on a stupid broken down car.
And then they're mad at Dennis. Like, well, why didn't you stop him? It's like what am I gonna do? Also, he did try to stop him continually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're mad. So they won't. They don't want it at their house at all.
No.
And I wrote here that there's a weird family dynamic because he talks about how I did all this for you. I'm on the chess team for you. I'm taking these classes for you. And, this is part of the reason where I think, Christine almost chooses her owner, in quotations, because he's so broken almost that he's just, feels like he's not his own person.
He's definitely under his parents' thumb.
Right.
Yeah.
And then once him and Dennis, after this part, when he's driving Arnie back to his house after he drops off the junk or the garage, he says, I wish that, we stop being a charity case for you, kind of.
Yeah.
So he feels like Dennis is hanging out with him because, just so, we've been friends. Probably one of those, we've been friends for so long and different paths now or whatever. But
yeah, Arnie's self-esteem is like non-existent.
Nothing.
He's really down on himself, and he kind of feels like the pity friend.
Exactly.
To
exactly.
Dennis.
Yes.
So, I don't think that's the case. I think Dennis really likes the guy.
Absolutely.
He wants to help him out. Like, he wanted to get him laid.
Like,
yeah. That's a nice thing to do for a guy.
Yeah, I just think that, especially when you're a teenager, you got your hormones and stuff going on, you kind of, are extra hard on yourself, sort of, I would say. Anyways, so we go to the junkyard. Or the junkyard. I call it the junkyard garage because I can't tell.
It's both. It's a junkyard.
It's kind of both.
Yeah, he goes and he drops it off with Roland. No. That's not his name. Darnell.
There you go.
Darnell is the junkyard. And he kind of gives both the boys some shit for...
This guy's a jerk.
Yeah. Which tells you can just park it here. You got to fix this before you even start it up again.
Yeah.
And he does. That's what Arnie does. He scrounges. He gets some parts in there and...
starts rebuilding Christine.
He does a really good job. He does.
They talk about what a good job he's doing.
Yeah, he gets her all nice spiffed up. Even Darnell kind of starts to like the kid, and he's like, you know what? You do some work around the place. I'll let you continue, picking parts in the scrap, and even I'll throw you a few bucks for your work. Mm-hmm. And he does. He gets Christine all shined up and fixed.
Absolutely, yeah. So while he's working on Christine, Dennis is hanging out with his other jock friends, hanging out in the library. And this is where Lee, the new girl, is working on something. And the jocks say, well, she's turned everybody down. So, Dennis, you should go. You should go talk to her and see if you can get a date. So he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he bets like $20.
Yeah.
You can get a date. And he goes, I'll take that.
So he wanders over, does... kind of, there's another blonde girl that's like super into him that he's kind of like randomly like turns down all the time.
Look at him smiling. She is sending every signal that
everyone, yes,
I am open for business and I want you.
I want the D.
And he's walking toward her and she's like, oh, yes. And he walks by and she's like, what the fuck?
Oh.
It's very funny. And usually it's the other way around.
Yes.
It's, the guy's looking and then the girl walks by.
Absolutely.
He's like, yes. And then she walks by and he's like, oh.
So he sidles up to Lee and he's like, yeah, do you want to go on a date with me and all that? No, I can't. And he's like, oh, why not? She said, well, I already have a date. And he's like, oh, man. So that's why she's turning everybody down. Is she's already got a date with a mystery man that we don't know who yet. So there you go. So we move to Arnie's house now, and Arnie is looking particularly different.
He's like a greaser.
Yeah, very much so. And this is where Mom says last owner killed himself in the car.
Yeah, they did some research, and they found out.
This is when the mom. I don't even remember writing that down.
So she kind of informs, Dennis. Just so you know, I heard about this. The owner, the wife died. Mm-hmm. Like she died in the car, and Dennis is a little, ooh, that's no good. So he goes back to the owner and he kind of confronts him. Yeah. Why didn't you tell Arnie that his wife died here? He's like, you don't understand. No, the owner died.
Yeah. That's what I mean. The owner,
The owner died in the car. He died by
asphyxiation.
And he goes to George, confronts him, says, "Why didn't you tell him?" He's like, "Well, he wanted to die. He did himself. Yeah. He ran that pipe from the hose from the tailpipe into the car and just killed himself. Yeah.
The carbon monoxide.
Was so obsessed with that car, he wanted to die with it. And we also find out that his wife died the same way. And so did his kid.
His daughter, yeah. So the whole family was wiped out. Yeah. And so...
And after that, George...
of the jungle.
Or Roland, I guess. That was the Bruce owner. Sure. He tried to destroy Christine. Yeah. He tried to get rid of her. And she came back 3 weeks later.
Yes.
So that's not an important part. That's...
Yeah, that she just showed up. They tried to get rid of her because after the wife and the daughter died, he's like, nope, we got to get rid of this. It's no good for you. And she just showed up.
So he decided to kill himself with her.
Yep. They can never be apart.
Yeah. And so we cut then to a football game.
Yes.
Dennis is playing, and they're doing pretty good. And we see Christine pull up with Arnie and Lee.
Yeah.
And he's running to make a big winning touchdown. And he's kind of staring, and he sees her kissing. He's a little distracted.
Yeah.
Turns around, and just as he's going to jump and catch the ball, he gets crushed. He gets hit hard. And,
destroyed.
Yeah. And Lee and Dennis kind of slowly, like, oh no, we should look at him. We should go check on him. And we see Dennis goes to the hospital. And he was it 2 centimeters to the left? He would be paralyzed from the waist down.
Exactly.
So that was bad.
But he can never play football again.
Ever again.
Never once.
And so then we go to Lee's and Arnie's date. They go to driving. It's raining out, and they're making out in the car.
Oh, hanky-panky.
Yeah, Arnie goes for second base.
Yeah, and so does she.
Yes.
There's some crotch rubbing.
Yeah.
There's some heavy petting.
There is. I don't think she's wearing a bra.
No.
I think she's braless.
This is the 70s. Ain't nobody wearing a bra.
Right. And she says, nope, you know what? I can't do this. And she gets on, she leaves, and he follows. Like, why not? Why can't you? Like, I can't in that car.
Yeah.
And like, what's wrong with the car? I don't like it.
Yeah. Car's stupid.
Yeah, so...
Like, you spend more time with your car than you do with me. Tell me I'm wrong. And he's like, well.
Damn. Got me there. So, yeah, they end up going, he gets her back in the car.
Yes. Yeah, like, it's pouring rain. Just come back. You'll get cold.
Yeah, they kind of start getting kind of a little separated. They're watching a movie. And the one windshield wiper stops. And
yes.
Of course, Arnie freaks out. He hops out, trying to fix it. Doors lock. And Lee, who just started eating her burger, starts to choke.
Yeah.
And the light turns green, like the dash light.
Mm-hmm.
And this bright light shows up. And she's there, she's choking, she can't breathe.
Yes.
And some guy next to her kind of notices when she gets out to when she gets on, just walks away, that he noticed that she was a little unhappy.
And this guy's been watching them the whole time.
He's
like, if
creepy.
you peep the like the actual movie, if you watch him instead of them, like, he's watching them.
Oh yeah, he's getting more out of
like
them than
get
the
it on.
Oh yeah,
it's so creepy.
And so she manages to get the door, because the door locked itself. She gets it open, and the guy
gives her the Heimlich.
Gets her out, gives the Heimlich maneuver, and Arnie forgot, get your hands off her. What are you doing, creep? And he saves her.
Yeah.
He saves her. And,
creepy guy. A+ for Peepin' Toms.
Oh yeah, he did good. And he gives Leah right back to her place.
Yes.
He's trying to kind of get things back on track, and he throws out, you're just sexually frustrated.
Yeah, that's why. And she's like, how dare you? My word.
How dare you? Climate change and sexual frustration. Put a tax on that.
So she goes home. She goes in and closes the door, and she's miffed.
Yeah, she's mad. Arnie doesn't get it because he's a dumb kid.
Yep.
And
again, hormones.
Yeah.
So we go to the garage.
Yes.
And there's we see Buddy and Moochie and Rich.
Yeah. They
the three bullies.
They found out where Arnie was keeping Christine.
Yes.
And they show up and they just destroy it.
Yeah, they office space the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just smash it. And even we're guessing as Moochie took a poop on the dash.
Takes a dump on the dash. That's literally and figuratively the cherry on top of the destruction. I love it.
And
if you're really gonna piss somebody off, like, you shit on one of their prized possessions.
Oh,
like, I'm just saying.
That is 100% true.
Right? It's like, doesn't matter if it's a car or a house or a dog.
If someone pooped on Icky, you would be livid.
I would be ripped.
Yeah. And so next day we see Arnie and Lee going to the garage to go for... No, he went to get his wallet.
Yes. They're kind of making up and...
Yeah, a little making up. And, he goes gets his wallet. She comes to, and he sees it just destroyed. He's all upset.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, who do you think did it? And he snaps on her.
Yeah.
And
you did this.
Yeah, he pushes her and calls her a stupid bitch.
Yeah.
And he swears he's going to fix her.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and this car, you guys, is, ruined. Like, the hood's ripped off, the roof's ripped off.
A door's missing.
Like, there's pieces everywhere. Like, it's destroyed. And so then Arnie goes home, and he's eating supper with his parents.
Yes.
And this is where he's, screaming at his parents that it was their fault, too. He's just playing the blame game now.
He's projecting everything.
And he just, screams at his parents, like, it's your fucking fault. And then walks away, and his dad follows him, that's the last time that you disrespect me and your mom, and blah, 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 and grabs him. And Arnie just, force chokes him, basically.
He goes for a chokehold. He grabs by the neck and...
squeezes, and his dad just kind of stops.
He freezes up, and he's like, I'm going to hit the hay.
Yeah.
Slaps his cheek and goes to bed.
Oh.
And I think he sneaks out. He goes to check on Christine.
Right, you're right.
Her.
Yeah.
And he kind of has a little bit of a moment with her, and then backs away, looks at her and says, "Show me."
Yeah.
Lights turn on, and she heals herself. She fixes everything, so she's brand new.
Yeah, all the dents and everything just heal. Yeah. And it's really cool in the movie. And I asked you while it was happening, I was like, how'd they do this? It was really cool how they kind of did it. Yeah.
It's the whole, play, they reverse the what they did, but it's really neat.
It's really well done.
It looks very well done.
Yeah.
And so Arnie, he's all happy, and he probably heads home. Christine, though, she's pissed.
Oh, yeah, she's out for blood.
She tracks down Moochie.
Yeah.
And she kind of traps him in this little tight corner, or like in the alley or something.
And when we find him, he's getting out of a semi-trailer. Out of the passenger side of a semi-trailer.
See, I swear this guy
in the middle of nowhere.
He's a homo. He's a homosexual. He has to be. He was having some fun times with semi-driver.
With a sensual crotch grab, and then you're getting out of a semi-truck, and we get no reason why. He's just in the middle of nowhere.
He's
it's like a car park. Right. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, so anyway, he gets chased down by Christine and gets crushed. I guess when they find him, he was in half, and his legs, his lower part was just mangled.
Yes.
So that's one down.
Ugh.
So she then tracks down. She chases because Buddy. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. The detective.
Yes.
He
is
comes
that now?
in. Yeah. So Detective Rudolph or Rudy. He tracks down Arnie, and he kind of he's heard that the car was in the area.
Right.
And so you kind of ask him some questions. Where were you? You had some issues with these boys, and Arnie kind of denies it. He doesn't know about it yet.
Right.
So then after a little bit of accusation, Christine goes out and she chases the other two bullies,
Buddy
and Rich, and chases them to their other friend Dawn's gas
station. Yeah, exactly.
And Christine smashes Buddy's car. And then hits a second time, smashing it into Rich. He gets crushed.
So I have a question for you. Do you think Arnie is in the vehicle during any of these?
No.
Really? This one I know he's not.
The tinted glass implies that it's Christine herself.
Okay.
She's really doing it herself to hide.
But in the last scene, it's tinted too.
I think, though, if you saw, he looks so gaunt and disheveled. Like he's kind of fully been taken over by his obsession with Christine.
Okay.
Like he's now kind of part of her.
Okay.
So, I think only the last bit he was in there. Everything else was just her being a homicidal automobile.
Sure.
And so she kills Rich, starts a fire, kills Dawn, the other buddy.
Yeah, the whole gas station explodes. Like, she's just ramming into stuff left, right, and center.
Yeah, and Buddy takes off. He's like, oh, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, he like pulls out a knife and he's like, nope.
Yeah, he runs. And Christine comes back out on fire, chases him down, and just runs him over and leaves him as a flaming corpse.
Yes.
And
nice and crispy.
Oh, yeah. And then we see her, you see the owner of the auto wrecker.
Yeah. What was his name? Darnell or something? Darrell?
I think Darnell. Yeah,
okay, perfect.
He's going to leave, and door opens, and comes Christine. She parks.
Yes.
And he thinks that someone's in there because he asks, "Where's Arnie?"
Yeah, he calls. Arnie's making deliveries for him.
Yeah.
So he calls the last guy he was supposed to see, and
So it's not Arnie in there. So someone took his car.
Right.
Or so he assumes.
Right.
So he has a shotgun, goes in there, opens the door, empty. No one's inside. So he's like, well, okay. So he hops in. He's
the
like,
smart horror movie move is made. He hops on it.
Why get into a car that was on fire? It's all burnt to crisp.
Yeah.
He gets in, and he's like, this is comfy. I like this car. And she didn't like him. The radio turns on, and she crushes him by moving the seat into the
steering wheel.
Mm-hmm. So he kind of gets... He has a crush. He kind of, again, asphyxiates. He can't breathe. He's dead. She
smushes the heck out of him.
Yeah. And again, next day, Arnie shows up in his other guy's car, and police everywhere. Goes in, and there's Detective Rudy. Kind of, where were you?
Right.
Because we got the owner's place is dead.
Yeah.
And Arnie's got a alibi. He was out doing deliveries and picking up stuff. And the detective's like, crap.
Yeah. Darn. And he's actually got a receipt and stuff. So he's, actually got evidence that he was not there.
And again, Christine's all fixed.
Yeah.
Good as new. After being burnt to nothing.
Absolutely. She looks like a brand new car again.
Yeah.
And so the detective's kind of like, oh, well, And, of course, Arnie is more worried about Christine than he is about his boss that just got smushed.
Yeah, or Lee, because after this he calls Lee and tries to make things work, and she breaks up with him, and he freaks out.
Oh my gosh, he calls her some quite intense expletives.
Yeah,
and
so she gets a hold of Dennis and kind of explains how she thinks it's the car. The car's the problem, not Arnie. They need to get rid of the car.
Yes.
So they make a plan. They're like, there's a big party we do every year.
Yeah.
Arnie will pick me up, and we'll plan something.
Yeah. So. Exactly. So they so this whole scene with Arnie picking up Dennis and just kind of like hanging out is really weird. It's just, I think, put in the movie to show how far gone Arnie is.
Yeah. Because I first thought it was just Christine. She was stalking.
Right.
Dennis.
Right.
But no, as it turned out, Arnie was in there, and Lee just left. So she was kind of, eavesdropping, kind of hidden.
Yeah.
And you can see just how obsessed, Arnie is now. 100%. Like, he kind of was wavering a bit, but no, that car is his, and nothing else matters to him.
Exactly. So they just kind of, I don't know, this is when Arnie gets mad at Dennis for calling Christine a breast bucket. And then they're drinking and driving, which is great. It's thoughtful. And he's like, oh, let's make a toast. Let's make a toast, man. 1979 is going to be death to shitters. Yeah. Death to shitters everywhere. And Dennis is like, what? Why? Like, can it be the friendship? Oh, sure, friendship. Okay, yeah, let's do that. And then he does this long speech about, like, how love is, like, I don't know, the most powerful thing. And if you do it the right way, that it's, worth it. And, if you love somebody and they love you back and it's, so powerful and, like, it's weird. I don't know. It was just a strange scene.
It's kind of just a little bit of monologuing for Arnie. And
like I said, just to see, like, how far he's almost gone. Like, he's so into... And he's like, oh, man, you're talking about Lee. Like, that's kind of sweet. No, man, I'm talking about Christine. Like, she's my one and only.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Great.
So basically, Dennis and Lee's idea is to destroy Christine. They save Arnie.
Right.
And so they go to the Darnell's garage, and they set up. They get a bulldozer, like Dennis. He hot wires a bulldozer, gets into the shop.
Why
and
not?
They're kind of waiting. They're waiting for Christine to show up because that's where she parks.
Right, and he actually carved in her hood Darnell's tonight.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so she knew.
Yeah. So
and I'm assuming Arnie knew then? Like, is that why he did it?
Well, he must have saw it, because he would have to drive.
Right.
And they're kind of waiting, and no one's showing up.
Right.
So Lee gets out, and she kind of walks out a bit, and lights turn on. And we see that Christine was kind of hidden in boxes.
She's been there the whole time.
So she goes and kind of chases Lee around, and she just about gets hit, which is pretty close. And she runs to a corner, and Dennis kind of blocks her. Like, he protects her with the bulldozer.
Yeah.
Christine can't get at her.
She tries both sides of the like claw part of the bulldozer, and she can't get through. So
yeah, she backs up, and Lee for some reason kind of peeks out, and
and they're like, "Oh, this is fine," you know. And so then this is actually when we hear Arnie yells, "Shitters!"
Yes, we realize that Arnie's in the Christine.
Yes, and so when we were watching, I was like, "Was that Arnie?"
Yeah.
So he is in Christine, which is why I thought in some of the other scenes he might actually be.
Yeah, we see like it's black. It's tinted windshield, so we kind of think, oh, it's just Christine, but no, Arnie's in there too.
Yes, exactly.
And he chases down poor Lee.
He guns it for her.
She's trying to get into this office, but she can't because it's closed and locked.
Yes.
And so he how's it go? I forgot how it happens now.
Yeah, so she does eventually get into the office, and then Christine.
Lee gets in there.
Yes.
And Christine just kind of makes a huge turn and goes straight in there.
Yes. And Arnie gets pushed out of the front.
Gets smashed. He smashes right through the front windshield, and lays there. And Lee goes to kind of check on him, and he jumps up, grabs her, screams. She screams, and we see that there's a nice big piece of glass just embedded in his chest.
In him, yeah.
And of course, the smartest thing to do is pull it out.
Obviously.
And that's what he does. He just pulls that piece of glass out, does a little bit of a groan, and dead.
Yes.
And,
so Arnie has died.
Yeah, and Christine starts playing this I'll Love You Forever, You'll Be With Me Forever song.
Yes.
And
this is...
She starts chasing Lee again.
Exactly. And Lee is just kind of standing at the end of the warehouse, or the old auto body junkyard place, and she's just freaking out. And Dennis, with his bulldozer, kind of with the claw, hooks into the back of Christine.
Yeah, he stops her from getting at Lee, and he pushes in, but she starts to repair herself, so he kind of does another grab and then starts running over her.
Yes.
And it takes longer than I thought, but he kind of gets a few good tries. And Christine gets smushed.
Yeah.
She gets smushed.
Totally smushed.
And Lee runs around and hops into the bulldozer with Dennis.
Yeah.
And then we see a big old cube. A cube of Christine kind of drops, and she gets crushed.
Yes. And then Jenkins or what is his name? Is that
Detective
his name?
Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy Jenkins. Yeah, he is with Lee and Dennis. There we go. Finally got that. I was like, well, I'm forgetting the main characters' names here for a second. And they're talking about...
It's almost like they explained it to him that it was a car, and he seemed to believe her.
Yeah, he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense.
And, some guy walks by, and you can see in the cube, it's starting to fix itself.
Yes.
Christine starts to fix herself.
Yes.
And movie end.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a little anticlimactic.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No.
Running over Christine at the end was painful to watch because it was like repeated.
Yeah.
Like with the bulldozer, it's like and back and forth and back.
Yeah. See, I would have done it different where it wasn't. You need the bulldozer first to kind of trap it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then have either Lee or Dennis go into like a crane.
Yeah.
With the grapple.
Right.
And then grab her and then put Christine into the compactor.
Right.
And have her honk, have a bit like a death throw.
Yeah, absolutely.
And watch as it compacts her.
For sure.
And then cut to the morning where they drop it out and end it as is. That would be a little more
like finite.
Yes.
Yeah, the bulldozer going over her like 6 times is just like like a couple times, and just seeing her like get smushed. But I get why they did it so many times, because she can repair herself.
Yes. So it shows that she just wasn't going to stop. She was an unstoppable force.
Yes.
Smooshed. But yeah, that was Christine.
Yeah, fun movie.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think it's a bit better than Maximum Overdrive.
It is. I definitely, that acting alone.
Oh yeah.
Much better.
Yeah. The deaths are not quite as gory as Maximum Overdrive, but there was no AC/DC in Christine. So
I mean, but Bad to the Bone is like the theme song.
Good point.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
So good in Destroyers, Bad to the Bone. That makes up. That makes up for it. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. How would you rate this then?
This is a good solid 3.5. 3.5.
Definitely.
Yeah. 3.5.
3.5 for sure. I agree.
It was good. It lacked in boobs.
I agree.
I'm joking about that, but the horror element was missing to me.
Absolutely.
Back in the 80s, I could see people being scared of this movie due to a car chasing you. That gets nerve-wracking.
Absolutely.
In real life, if you're driving and this car keeps berating you and chasing you, you'd get scared.
Absolutely, yeah.
But in a movie, not so much.
No, it's like I understand that it's kind of scary having a car follow you, but you could hide, I think. Technically, you could hide.
Cars can't climb ladders.
Right.
You could get away. And in the book, I forget which character went and hid in his house.
Yeah.
And Christine smashed into the house and kept hitting the staircase until it smashed and he fell in. Sure. And then she ran him over.
Right.
Right.
And there's only so many ways you can kill somebody with a car, too.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
And I don't know. There was a really creepy episode even of Ash vs. Evil Dead where his car gets possessed.
Yes.
And starts killing people. And that was creepy. Like, I thought, like, there's different ways you can kill people with a car.
There is.
But I just feel like, especially with movies like It Follows. Have you seen It Follows yet?
No.
That is horrifying because it's a person who can shapeshift, who is just lumbering after you forever.
Oh, wow.
Forever. And the way you get rid of them is by sleeping with somebody. But that's besides the point. But it'll just be like you could be at a mall, like I was at the Midtown today, and it'll just walk. It just walks up to you. Oh, cool. It just walks. And that's creepy. So creepy. So it's just almost like, and I can't help but compare it to things like that, where it could have been different, I guess. I don't know. Like, how much can you do with a car? And how many flippin' movies does Stephen King make about killer cars? Like 3?
Two for now.
Well, there's Maximum Overdrive. Yep. And then there's Christine. And then there's the other one. There's, what's it called? Like Flame Spirit or something? There's another one.
I did not know
about a killer car.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cars are dangerous.
Apparently.
What would you rate this?
I totally agree with you. I would give it a solid 3, only because I wouldn't rate it higher because there was not much gore, no boobs, and it didn't feel super scary. No. Is all.
But like I said, the actors made this awesome.
It was really good. It was a fun watch. Like, I had fun watch. I would watch it again.
Yeah. And for those who are huge car buffs and all that, they would find this terrifying because the car keeps getting destroyed. Oh. They went through, I don't know how, I think only 2 were remaining that were untouched. Oof. So there's a lot of car damage in the actual filming of this movie.
Yes. Oh, even though it technically, in quotations, repairs itself, it's not. It's no. You know that it's movie magic and these cars are being destroyed. Yeah. Although it would be really fun, right? Like when the bullies are like, I mean, other than the pooping part, when the bullies are like sledgehammering windshields and stuff, that would be kind of fun.
I'd laugh when Buddy jumped from the roof onto the hood he slipped just a little.
Yep.
I saw something like, ooh.
Nice catch.
I think that was like a one-take pony there.
Yep.
But, yeah. What about Ichabod's Kill the Flick?
Well, she did sleep through most of it.
She did.
But she did seem to open her eyes when Buddy got killed.
I agree.
And I think, yeah, definitely, because he's kind of being horrifyingly chased. This is one of the actual scarier parts of the film, I think.
Yeah.
Where he's just being chased down this dirt road. No one's around. There's headlights coming up behind him. The car is on fire.
Yes.
Like, and I'm not talking like there's a fire. Like, the whole car is on fire.
It's a big fireball chasing him.
And it's kind of creepy, and it's just following him. And it almost lets him run for a while.
Oh, definitely.
Like cat and mouse.
It's a hunt.
Yes.
It's a hunt for it.
And then Christine runs over him, and then you just see this burning body flail to the ground and roll a bit. And then he's on fire.
And dead.
And very dead. Yeah.
I think it's the most fitting and kind of...
Absolutely.
Buddy was a dick. He had it coming. He looked cool. He had a nice... he looked all ganglish, and those are some wicked sideburns.
Oh.
But...
they almost... they went down from his sideburn area to his mouth.
Yeah.
Like, what even is that? That's like an anime character sideburn. Right?
But he was straight up bully.
Yeah, he had no redeeming qualities. No one cared when he died.
He had it coming.
Absolutely. But everybody basically who died in this movie was an asshole. Did you notice that? The owner of the junkyard.
Yep. The bullies.
The bullies. Arnie. By the end of it, he was a douche.
That was kind of it.
Yeah. All jerks.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. So at least she picks jerks.
She's not a bad car.
She's just a black widow.
She's just misunderstood.
Yeah.
She's one to love.
They all deserved it.
Yeah.
Stupid.
And I want to mention earlier too, all the attention that Arnie gives her is like his power source.
Yes.
Like it can be regenerated because of the love and the attention.
Absolutely.
Right after he had that fight with Lee and dropped her off, he got onto Christine and tried to start the car. She wouldn't start.
Yeah.
He had to talk to the car and say, things would be just back to normal.
Yeah.
It's you and me. You're all that matter to me.
Yeah.
And he tried the key and it started.
Yeah.
So it's a very big, it shows that as much as Arnie's obsessed with Christine is 100% obsessed with Arnie.
Absolutely.
That is her owner. That's who she wants to be with. She will do anything. That's why she went and killed the bullies.
Absolutely.
Yes, they kind of smashed her, but I'm sure Arnie, while he was fixing her, was talking.
Yeah.
And explaining, it's this fucking buddy. He did this to me. He's up
Stab my yogurt.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. I definitely recommend this movie for anyone to watch. It's a good classic.
It's fun.
It's a good Stephen King movie. Not his scariest work, but it's a solid movie. I
agree. Definitely.
Yep.
And I'm just as excited for our movie next week. We're going to be watching Apostle.
Ooh, I have not seen this.
I haven't either. It got recommended to us by my brother-in-law. Brother-in-law? Is that what Kenny would be?
Yes.
Sure. My brother by marriage? I don't know.
That's brother-in-law. Yep.
Yeah, he watched it and he reached out to me and said that Apostle would be a really fun movie for us to watch. He said it was really creepy. So this is going to be more of a creepy one. Ooh. It's a new movie, too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is it by Stephen King?
It isn't.
Okay.
But the main character is, I'm pretty sure I looked it up on IMDb, and the main character is Dan Stevens. Like, he's the one, he played Beast in the new Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And he plays creepy really well. Like, he's in another horror TV show right now. So I think it's gonna be a fun one.
Cool.
I'm ready for a mind fuck. Oh, thank you everybody for joining us this week. This episode, as always, was brought to you by our executive producer, Ichabod. We hope you enjoyed your Horr-Gasm as much as we did. Please don't forget to rate, download, and subscribe. Also, like and follow us on YouTube at the Horr-Gasm Podcast, Facebook at Horr-Gasm Podcast, Instagram at Horr-Gasm, and Twitter at GasmHorror. If you have a movie you'd like us to review, this is the best way to let us know. We hope to see you again next week because we have such sights to show you. Plenty of Horr-Gasms for you to experience. Bye!